It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. We come to you live every day at noon Eastern. That's 9 a.m. Pacific for about an hour or 90 minutes each day. Each day we do 3 gun-related topics, different topics throughout the week. We run the show live on YouTube and simulcast it over at gunchannels.com. We're watching the comments that come in from the viewers that are watching the show live. We do appreciate that. Our goal here is to work on new media, not taking old-fashioned things and putting them on the internet, but coming up with new ways to do things. Part of that is having the audience be a part of the show. So we do appreciate all the people that watch us live. We recently moved the show to this noon time slot in order to kind of break away from our previous time slot, cut new ground as far as doing the show again during the day, and to give Jimmy James and Tony and Pawnery a little bit of break from the long format shows they were doing during the day over on Gun Channels. We also wanted to move our show from that kind of pre-prime time slot to give someone else a chance to jump into that time slot. So anyone who's interested in doing either a daily show or a show once a week, but in that old time slot, feel free to take it and just put yourself on the schedule and have fun. We also would encourage people to come up with new shows in the time slot created between this show and the primetime shows in the evening. So again, everybody who's creating stuff and watching the shows, we appreciate you jumping in and watching the show live. Let's see, we have, we take the show and simulcast it over at Gun Channels, and every once in a while we'll take the audio and we'll post it over on iTunes as a podcast. In fact, we'll be doing that more in the future. But we're always interested in feedback from whatever these platforms are that we broadcast or simulcast the show on. So we encourage people to give us feedback, either live while the show is happening, if you're out there, or after the fact. That lets us know where people are listening, and we appreciate that. It also helps to get the show recommended to more viewers, more listeners, and that's one of our goals. We have hosts. A bunch of us are here today. We got Bob jumping in from Canada. Thanks for joining.
Hey, glad to be here.
Then we got Jimmy jumping in from Phoenix. Thanks for joining.
Hey, here.
I am on the road. I'm in Chicago. So I think that's everybody today. If you'd like to join us on the show, feel free to send us an email. It's dailygunshow@gmail.com. We try to have as many guests on, and guest hosts and just guests in general. If you got something to promote or talk about, let us know. We try not to just follow the news of the day. We come up with our schedule ahead of time, and we usually just talk about gun-related stuff. But at the beginning of the show, we usually do take a break to see if anything happened overnight or worth talking about. So I don't know what shows. Let's see. Today's Tuesday, right? So yesterday was Matt's show, Hawaii Volcano Squad, and that was it, I think. We like shooting. Anyway, anything happened overnight worth talking about with you guys?
Yeah, I wasn't able to catch Matt's chat, but I did catch a little bit of the beginning of it when they were talking about what was that movie, It. So yeah.
Yeah, I can't understand that. I personally think money is power, right? And I agree with that. We're capitalists. We live in a capitalist society. Money is a way that we can vote. So when it comes time to go watch something entertaining like a movie or whatever, I just can't see. I mean, they were really impressed with how much money that movie has made. And I guess it's a horror movie, and it made as much money as like one of the big blockbuster superhero movies, which you would think would get a more diverse audience. But my thing is, this guy, Stephen King, is not only anti-gun, but he's a prolific author, and he wrote an entire book on being anti-gun in his stupid position. Now, I don't like the guy, and I don't like the fact that he wrote that book. And this was years ago when I was really doing the YouTube stuff, full time. So I bought the damn ebook, and it was like $3, and I feel like a prostitute for doing it, but it was necessary in order to read the stupid thing. It wasn't available as a bootleg yet at the time, and I wanted to read it, and it wasn't very long, and it was this horrible, ignorant position on anti-gun. And for a guy who considers himself a writer, and a guy who I would assume people assume are is an intelligent. I think people assume he's intelligent. His positions on anti-gun rhetoric was horrible, and it was all based on myth and general bogus, anti-gun BS. And it was just a horrible book, and I don't like it. And I don't like the fact that not only he wrote it, but he was promoting it like he was really, really proud of it. So the fact that people are Googling over this guy's stupid clown book drives me nuts, but that's just, I guess, my personal opinion on it.
Yeah, I saw the one that they did in the 90s, and I didn't like it too much, so I haven't watched this one either. I never knew he did an anti-gun book, though. I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah, it's called The Gun or something, and it's garbage. If I had it on book, if I kept it, I'll give it to you so you don't have to waste your money on it, and definitely don't want to support him or any of the... I don't like the fact that you put something like that out, and then you put it on something like wherever, books are found, and then every time somebody downloads it, it's as if they're going to be able to say, this many people are interested in anti-gun garbage. They're going to use those numbers to, I don't know. I just don't like the idea of it. So if I can get it to you without having to register as a download or any kind of money to that guy, that'd be great. And that's what I was going to say. Watch the movie all you want, but wait till it's on, I don't know, TV or something, where you don't have to pay this guy no money, and he doesn't get any credit for making being an anti-gun or making a bunch of money. Is there enough of them making money? But
I think the whole scary clown thing is bullshit, so I wouldn't watch it.
I don't like horror movies anyway. They basically make everybody look like they're a bunch of idiots. The only way horror movies work is if you're oblivious and you're a moron. So like every horror movie I watch, I'm like, that could have been ended by like just being aware, like sitting in the back seat. Like there's just a million things you can do in these movies. They require the people to be complete morons. It's not scary when an idiot, is oblivious to something that hits them.
Yeah. Gee, the lights all went out. There's somebody terrible chasing us. I'm going to go down in the dark basement and see if I can
not turn on a flashlight.
Myself.
Not have any kind of options. Yeah. So they're too contrived.
Yeah.
But people want that, I guess. So whatever. Entertain yourselves. But that's my opinion on What's His Face's book.
Yeah, you want to scare yourself? Get a fast motorcycle.
No, that would be actual danger. People don't like actual danger. They like being scared.
Fun that way. There's a real,
Hunter, he's saying he's at the end of his rope redoing movies.
Oh yeah, all the what's it called? Remakes, the reboots. That's what they're called. Yeah, bringing back the 80s.
There's no one willing to take a risk in Hollywood, and there's no real creativity. That's the problem.
Well, no, I think there is creativity. It's just the creative people, in my opinion, have gone to more impressive mediums that are useful and not dominated by a couple of rich individuals with agendas, so that their creative efforts are stifled depending on whether or not it falls in line. So I think there are still creative people. It's just that they're off doing their thing and using these avenues like we're using that go direct to consumer, direct to their audience, as opposed to through some giant bunch of people with money, right?
Yeah.
So what's left over in Hollywood is what they can afford to buy, which is people who aren't creative and who don't have the ability to come up with something new.
They're also very risk averse in Hollywood.
Well, that's true. You're putting $1 million into a movie. You want that movie to make $2 million. You don't want to maybe see it. Yeah, you're right. They're businesses. They're not. And they're dealing with the types of money that you can't just, $50,000. Yeah, we care about this agenda. We want to get this information out. But $50 million, yeah, that's got to make $60 million to make everybody happy, or probably more.
Yeah.
I guess that's probably make double your money back. So, that $50 million movie needs to make 100.
Yep.
That's enough Hollywood talking, I guess. So let's see. Today is Tuesday. That means it's our Second Amendment Day. We have Second Amendment issues on Tuesday. We talk about a state of the state. We talk about usually a state. And then we have a wild card topic. One of these days we'll get together and do a scheduling show and come up with a topic for Tuesdays. But till then, we call it a wild card topic. So if you're listening and you'd like to help to create this show, give us an idea of topic, and we'll bring that one up. Otherwise, what do we got for Second Amendment issues? I guess we technically don't have a topic there. Is there anything you guys have been thinking about Second Amendment wise?
I read an article yesterday with a somewhat bad news. It's from bearingarms.com. And it was saying about how the national reciprocity is reportedly going nowhere due to Paul Ryan. Let's see here. Following the shooting of Representative Steve Scalise at the hands of a deranged liberal terrorist, Representative Thomas Massie introduced a bill for national reciprocity. This bill would make it so concealed carry licenses would be treated like marriage licenses or driver's licenses. A permit in one state would be recognized in every other state. The bill, however, has stalled, and Massie points the finger for this squarely at Speaker of the House Paul Ryan. Speaker Paul Ryan will not allow congressional action on national concealed carry reciprocity to move bills forward. Rep. Thomas Massie told host Mark Walters Thursday on Armed American Radio. The reason given is Ryan thinks the timing isn't right to consider H.R. 2909, the D.C. Personal Protection Reciprocity Act, a supplement to state reciprocity provisions of H.R. 38. Let's see. We've got over 80 co-sponsors at this point, Massie told Walters. When asked the status of his bill, which is currently and procedurally in the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, because Congress has oversight responsibility for Washington, D.C., he's, quote, pressing for a hearing. Why we haven't seen movement in over either 38 or 2909 since the horrific events in Virginia? Walters asked, noting the Republicans control the House and the Senate, and both Ryan and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell appear to be blocking bills advancing the right to keep and bear arms.
All right, so while you were saying that, I didn't want to interrupt you, but did it say Ryan's reasoning?
Timing. He said that the timing is bad, apparently.
And because of why?
That didn't elaborate.
Okay. So, yeah, that's kind of open. So I haven't heard, I mean, I guess I may have heard something about the thing isn't going to go forward, but I don't know if I've heard it like blamed or someone blamed for it not going forward, like directly like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I kind of thought it was a little interesting, I guess, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, so going along with that, today the SHARE Act is going to committee. I noticed that on the Instagrams this morning. I was posting about the Early Watch show and saw that the American Suppressor Association, who obviously is, or you may not know, but is obviously a big proponent of suppressor legislation. They're following the SHARE Act, and I'm pretty sure the SHARE is the version that's the Hearing Protection Act folded into Sportsman Act that includes the couple of things, including the lawful purpose, removing the sporting use and replacing it with lawful purpose, so that the definition of an activity such as recreationally shooting in your backyard or at the range is actually a sporting use, or in other words, now would be called a lawful use. At the moment, the definitions of the definitions of the 1986 Gun Control Act create this sporting use as a condition for importation. So if a firearm is not deemed sporting use then by the ATF, then it's not lawful for importation. And if it's not lawful for importation, it also affects its ability to be built here in the United States and how it would be registered. So something like a shotgun that uses a drum magazine or a rotating cylinder like a street sweeper, at some point the ATF decided there's no sporting use for a street sweeper, basically a giant shotgun revolver thing, which was made kind of as a novelty and for fun, but they don't consider setting up a whole bunch of 2-liter bottles or some old pumpkins or apples or just some old ceiling or floor tiles or whatever it is you want to shoot at, clumps of dirt or cow pies or whatever. They don't consider having a field of those a recreational or a lawful use of a street sweeper. They only see the potential harm done with a street sweeper. So that's like saying there's no lawful use for a convertible because the only real use we can see for this is to run through crowds, and in sidewalks. So there's no lawful use for this convertible. That's basically what they're saying. So that if it's right, this act that they're going into the committee today with would change that, and that would be awesome. I think that's one that I think is way more important than any national reciprocity. I think that's basically one of the most important ones that we could see pass. I think it attacks the keystone to the 922R. So in other words, there would be no 922R, and once you get rid of 922R, you have a lot more potential for firearms to be built. And once you have a lot more potential for firearms to get built, they get built. There's more firearms that are deemed assault rifles out there, and the more of those that are out there, and the incidence of crime and accidents, continues to go down, which it will. We have a better and better position for no firearms laws, like a lot of us are, wanting. So I think it's a great step towards that. It's a great step towards allowing, again, a grandpa to take his grandkid out with a street sweeper and enjoy an afternoon of whaling on pumpkins or something, which, right now would be a registered item if you wanted to do that. A lot more cost.
Yeah, but that would definitely be cool, though. Oh, yeah, I would like to see that go through.
Yeah, for sure.
So thanks to Ghost out there mentioning that we have 15 people watching, and thanks to those, but we only have 5 thumbs up now, 7 thumbs up over there. That does help the engines, the thing behind Google that watches everything. If it sees that 15 people watch but only 1 person thumb up, that's the same as saying 15 people don't give a shit about this show. They just happen to be watching it. But if 15 people are watching and there's 17 thumbs up, that's an indication to Google that this is something that, although it's not the most watched, it's very popular with the people that are watching it. So we do really appreciate the people that take the time to go over to the YouTube side and click that little thumbs up button. I'm told from my YouTube person, the rep we have, that if you click that little bell there, if you ring the bell, it's the notification icon, and basically that'll send you an email or whatever your notification settings are every time we launch a show. And that's another indicacy that your channel is popular. If people are so interested in what you're doing that they click the little bell to be alerted when you do stuff, then that's again an indicacy that you're a channel that's on the growth. And when they see a channel that is popular like that, they have a higher tendency to recommend our videos when someone watching something similar. So because we do a podcast daily, we have plenty of potential there. So we really do appreciate the people that help us make that possible. My dog's getting super anxious, so I'm thinking that means he wants to go POTTY. I'm going to have to probably sneak out at some point. Let's see. We are still talking. What did I do? I clicked on the wrong tab. Are we still talking Second Amendment issues then, or do we want to move it on along?
I haven't really seen anything else.
Being on the road and kind of changing time slots and losing Dano and Smeggy is going to, take us a little bit of time. So again, we appreciate people that are dealing with it, but we're getting our shit together here. And as soon as, there's only so many other things that can break on this damn van. Pretty soon it's going to be a brand new van for me, so it'll be out of my hair. But just the cadence and the schedule will get down here. So I appreciate everybody that's sticking with us on the kind of choppiness of the show. But anyway, we'll move on to our wild card topic, which I guess we don't have yet, or do we? Is anybody throwing a wild card topic out there?
Yeah,
I got one from Clayton, open carrying in a campground. So I guess we'll do that one since I don't see anything on that side. Anything else over there at least? Let's see if we got anything. There's some stuff happening on YouTube. Let's see. All right, so nothing else for wildcard topics. So yeah, let's do open carrying in a campground. I used to. I don't do it anymore because I conceal carry, but I don't have any problem with it. It's probably a little bit easier to get to. For me though, if I'm going to have even an outside the waistband, I'd rather have a shirt over it as opposed to open carry, because I never dropped a gun, but I've dropped like sheaths before. Like when I was a kid and I thought it was cool to like carry a big sheath knife. I'd dropped those in the past, and you don't really know they fell out of your sheath until you go to grab for it and you're like, dang it, now you got to retrace your steps forever until you find the damn thing. So I guess for that reason, because I don't have open I don't have open carry holsters that have retention really anymore. So I'd be concerned that if it was open and I was like cutting wood or falling down a creek or something, that it might fall out. So I think I'd rather have a shirt over it just for that, you know, so it doesn't fall out as easy.
Then it's just like in your pant leg.
No, but I mean, if it's in your inside the waistband, basically for me at least, I got my tactical guts hanging all over it. Where if I have it open carry, then you know it could easily fall out of the holster. And because I carry an actual firearm, not old lead anchor, you know, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know if it's gone. So until I needed it, and that's you never know. Some bear, you know, wait till your gun falls out. That's when they attack you. They ain't stupid.
Yeah, bears are sneaky.
There's some issue with states. You know, I'm used to free states, but I know in Florida, you can't open carry unless you're fishing, or is it fishing and camping? But I know there's like instances where you can open carry. So sometimes if you're camping,
Florida, I think it's only while you're fishing, which is
because of alligators, probably, right? They don't want you to be carrying a fish around and not be able to defend against the alligator.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I think there's cats in Florida too, aren't there?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but that wouldn't make sense. I think you'd be able to also when you're camping, but we're not in Florida, so we'd have to let somebody know.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the social aspects, so I don't know what that means. Like, if you're like Bob was mentioning this lake in Colorado, he wanted to stop there or whatever. So when I went up to the Red Dawn locations, I was like an hour from that lake. I figured I'm going to go up there, check out that gunsmithing school, and camp at that lake, right? Because I bought one of these permits, that was $90, $80 pass that lets me camp all kinds of places. So I thought, heck, if I can go camp there for nothing, right? So anyway, I get up there and it was like stop at the gate or whatever. Instead of checking in, they're like, why don't you wait here for a minute because the ranger just went down to see if there's any open spots. So to me, that means this place is pretty full. Like we don't even know if there's any open spots right now. I don't camp in places like that, but if that's what Clay is talking about, is that appropriate? Is that the place to be like, hey, I'm the ambassador to open carry? Or are you going to like freak out a bunch of Coloradans who are just like trying to, I don't know, probably go smoke pot out next to the lake?
I haven't gone camping a lot since I've been out in Arizona, but I have gone quite a few times, and every time that I've gone, I open carry. I usually put my shoulder rig on, and there's been other people there, and I don't know. I mean, once again, I am in Arizona, so they probably don't care, but I mean, nobody batted an eyelash.
Nobody bats an eyelash when you carry anywhere in Arizona.
pretty much. So.
You'd have one potential danger or risk, and that would be if there was like a Tony or a Bob there, maybe even a Ponnery, and you were carrying like something like an anemic 357 or less, then they might come over and give you shit because you don't have a high enough bore.
It's usually 45 or above.
Okay. Does anyone have suggestions on what would be the best holsters for running and moving around a lot? I would say for running and moving, I'd want it outside the waistband, and then you'd want something with retention. So I would say probably looking at something like what a cop would carry. But then it's frustrating because typically cop belts and rigs are at this point already for sure. But you know, even back in the day, they would be out from the body as opposed to snug to the body for things like winter coats and whatever. But nowadays for armor, right, most cops are going to be wearing at least soft body armor as part of their uniform. So, you know, even if the cop is physically fit, that gives them some bulk so that those cop oriented holsters, while they have retention and they're super strong, well made and everything, and obviously tested because most of them work flawlessly after decades of use, right? The problem is that they're designed to be worn around armor, so they, you know, they kind of, what do you call it? They kind of stand off from the belt a little bit, and that's what I'd be concerned about for just, you know, not if you're not wearing armor, then it would just kind of be sticking out kind of bit. But I would say that's probably your best bet because they're super strong. They're meant to be slammed onto. They're meant to be, have retention. So if some bad guy's yanking on it, they don't get the whole holster or anything. And then the retention would be, if you're doing cartwheels or getting flipped over on your back or doing something crazy with, pulling G's in a vehicle or something, they're going to hold on to your gun for all that.
Yeah. I had this one that was really good. It was Safariland, and it was an ALS holster, so it had a thumb brake or retention, but a thumb brake. And what the hell? Oh, it had the option between changing to a belt loop or a paddle holster, and it was technically considered a duty holster, but only if you put it on the paddle setting or the paddle whatever. Then it would stick out, like you were saying, like give enough room for like body armor or something like that, or extra gear or whatever.
Not only were they different, like retention or attachment systems, but then they were also like put the gun in a different position to your body.
Yeah. So that worked really good. And then, like I said, it has a thumb brake, so like you were saying, you could do cartwheels, get thrown around, whatever.
And that's kind of cool too, because I know back in this area of the world, somebody's going to want to holster for during the day during the summer, and then during the day during the winter is a different subject. So you might want something like that gives you two options, and that way when you're wearing a coat or whatever, a windbreaker, then you could have a you can still be open carrying without having it all jab up behind there.
Yep.
Should have brought more windbreakers because it's freezing up here. I don't know how these people live. It's crazy.
Yeah, what is it, like 80 degrees?
Hell no. No, it's like 60 or 70 in the daytime. This is insane.
Oh, that sounds like it'd be just pleasant. It's about 80 here.
All right, well, I don't know if there's anything else with
holsters.
Yeah, with holsters and cycles saying triggering the little park snowflakes. Yeah, that's one of those things. To some extent, kind of neat to do that. Other times, it's inappropriate to do it. But dang, is a campground a place where, they should feel safe from open carry? I don't know. I think that's probably one of your better, because at least those people are outside. It's not like you're walking into a fancy art show in downtown San Francisco and expecting them to deal with open carry. I mean, you're out in the freaking wilderness, for crying out loud.
Yeah, but it's always fun to make snowflakes cry.
Might be for you, but I think it's better to educate them that not all gun owners or whatever their worst fear is, and instead just be a great ambassador and make it so that they don't fear them because they don't even care about them anymore, not because they're forced to or something. So I guess we're gonna. Oh wait, I kept on going. Good idea, bad idea. I guess that was our thing. So open carry. Thanks to that one, Clay, and we will move on to state of the state. What state are we doing today? We'll do Illinois. We're here. I'm here.
Yeah, do Illinois. I don't know shit about it though.
I don't either. So Illinois, state doesn't let me carry, so screw them, jerks. That's the state of Illinois. Should have Tony in here. He could tell us about it, or maybe even Daniel, but he's doing stuff today. So yeah, I don't know. This one of them lame states where the last one to get concealed carry, they do have concealed carry. I think it's is it an 8 or 16-hour course? Do we know?
I believe it's 8 from what I'm going off of Tony, but I might be wrong.
I believe it was 8 also. So it's pretty costly. You have to apply. We've been to a couple of gun shops now, and the gun shops, I guess, are kind of tasked, or at least taking it on to help explain the stuff to everybody. To their customers at least. But however, I would say, since I have not prepped or anything for the laws, you can go look at Wikipedia. I'll tell you what it's like to be here. Definitely no firearms out in public, which is odd, because I'm used to seeing at least a couple of guns once in a while. I do have people I know here that shoot, and Dano's here. So there are definitely ranges. If anybody watches Big Gunner 81 channel on gun channels and YouTube and Instagram and stuff, he started out in Illinois, but recently moved, but he still has quite a few connections here in Illinois. So seeing some of the ranges that he's been to and done videos and stuff at, and then some of the outdoor ranges and stuff, And then again, seeing some of the stuff that Dano's been to, I got to experience that place called The Site, where the bullpup shoot was, which was technically in Illinois, but might as well have been Iowa. Again, that's here in the state. So between that and the size of the gun shops, there's some massive gun shops. Illinois might be at the end of the list of CCW, but I'm optimistic. I think there's enough people here that will see it move further. And in fact, I'm kind of curious, does it have the potential to move faster beyond places like California and New York, from being in a place where they were definitely as bad as, if not even worse in some ways. I suspect that now they've had a little taste, and it'll be tougher and tougher to justify their horrible infringements, when with the lack of infringements, there is no difference in crime or accidents. In fact, it'll probably get better. As far as the crime rates will probably get better, because every other place it's been like that. I'm wondering if Illinois then will get a little bit more voice from the southern part of Illinois, because basically 90% of Illinois is in Chicago. Just that Chicago has like 60% of the population of the state or something like that. So hopefully we'll see Illinois. I think Illinois has got the potential. I think more so than California, which is super ingrained in anti-gun, and New York, which is super proud to be an anti-gun also. I could see Illinois being a potential state that goes from anti to medium, or even somewhere else.
Yeah, there's a lot of conservatives out there. Like you said, Chicago is making up a lot of its demographic right now, but that can go away.
Yeah, people they're moving out of Chicago, so
yeah. And then another thing, just to kind of add to the whole to the state part of it, to the law part of it, we have the regular NFA, right? But Illinois, they actually itemize everything in the NFA and make it illegal. So say the NFA was to get thrown out or whatever, and or the Hearing Protection Act, even not even the NFA get thrown out, just the Hearing Protection Act passes and suppressors are legal everywhere. My understanding is in Illinois, you still won't be able to get them because they're like individualized.
All right, so you're saying, and I did a list for this on Every Second Matters, the old version. So I haven't moved it over because I have to find it, but I haven't moved it. Stop it! I haven't moved it over to the new Every Second Matters yet. But I went through, in addition to finding I basically made a giant spreadsheet. Snuggie would be proud. And in addition to writing the Second Amendment for each state, I had their positions on a lot of things, including NFA. And you're right, some of them are like, in fact, most of them say something in the state constitutions to the effect of whatever the federal government says in regards to firearms laws, you got to be good to go. You got to be legal federally, and then you're legal here. Like they basically default to whatever the federal is. And they're written, most of them are written in a way that says kind of open, whatever the federal government says, as long as you're in compliance, then you're cool here. A couple of states, like Jimmy's saying though, even though the NFA is spelled out, the state level constitution will just repeat the NFA, so that if the NFA at the federal level ever disappears, it still exists at the state level. And you're saying Illinois is one of those states where it goes through and says, you can't own suppressors, you can't own machine guns, you can't own short guns, you can't own big guns, you can't own guns that don't look like guns. And it doesn't matter if you got an okay with the NFA. In other words, what they're doing is hedging, I guess, from someone moving to Illinois. Some of those laws, I guess, could be interpreted where you can't buy a new one, but if you already own them, that's fine. And I guess Illinois is saying, we just don't want them here, which is bullshit, because I'm pretty sure when I went through here, it's not 100%, it is grandfathered. So if somebody's lived in Illinois a whole long time and brought some stuff like a Nazi gun back from World War II and had it, what do they call that? What do they call that when they put the thing through? Anyway, there was a couple of times when they had, what's that called when they repealed the law for a minute? Give people a window.
You mean like grandfathered in kind of thing?
Yeah, but there's a name for it when they make a window and let people register for a minute. I forget the word. But anyway, they did that once, I think, after World War II to let all the bringbacks. So I guess there's potentially situations where somebody could have lived in Illinois pre-34, which is possible, and then owned stuff that was, and they didn't have to get rid of it, basically. Like there's some states that say you can't have it here, get rid of it. Mm-hmm. Illinois basically says you can't have it here, but you don't have to get rid of it. You already had it before. We said you can't have it anymore. I think that's how
amnesty, like an amnesty or something.
That's the word, I think. Yeah, they'll do like they've only done a couple of NFA amnesties, and I think one of them was for World War II, and then I think we might have done one for Nam. I don't remember. That would be an interesting thing for somebody to look up, do some research on, and present.
Yeah, for sure.
Imagine if they did a amnesty now. They said, okay, everybody who wants to just pay $200 and tell us about your full autos. How many people would come forward?
Yeah.
Well, that was a pretty shitty state of the state, but that's what our show is all about, just raw. So that was your raw state of the state.
Off the cuff.
If you know something about Illinois, feel free to chime in. Again, if you're just shaking your fist at the screen saying these guys are idiots, well, you could tune out off, or you could join us and make the show better. So we welcome you to do so, challenge you to do so, perhaps. Let's see. Connery's saying that Chicago's demographic is going away slowly, one gangland homicide at a time. I don't know about that. I know what you mean. I don't think anybody is becoming more pro-gun because of the concern of downtown crime. There was times when I remember back in the day when going downtown was definitely scary, and there was no backlash at all about like we should have guns in response to that. It was they should remove all guns in response to that. Like they're definitely worked here. They're at least I haven't seen it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't seen them say, "Oh, there's violence. We should be prepared." They say, "Oh, there's violence. We should try to restrict all guns more."
Yeah, we should disarm ourselves so that we're completely helpless.
No, they don't have guns, so they're not disarming themselves. We should disarm anybody who we know of who's willing to be disarmed because we're afraid of what the bad guys who aren't going to disarm might do because they have arms.
Yeah.
But again, we're not in Illinois except for visiting, so anybody who wants, who lives up here, feel free to join the show and jump in, or screw us, just make your own show. Let us know about it. We'll be happy to promote it. The whole idea here is to encourage and inspire people to get out there and create Second Amendment content amongst your other stuff. So I might as well we can move on. Is that a good state of the state?
Yeah.
Also, Illinois is cool because it looks like an arrowhead, and a lot of other states look stupid. All right, so we're going to do a gun shop. Every day we do a gun shop. That's one of the reasons Bob and I started doing this show about 397 episodes ago. I imagine this one got sent in by somebody because it says Michigan, and I'm not familiar with this one.
Yes, this one was sent in on the email dailygunshow@gmail.com by Squibload. So it is, let's see here, Accurate Range in Clarkston, Michigan. This range rents several guns. Rental fee is $20. Try as many as you want. Does not include ammo or range time. You have to give them your driver's license to hold while you shoot. You fill out a waiver electronically. The pistol lanes are $15 per half hour or $20 per hour. The rifle lanes are $30 per half hour or $40 per hour. They carry ammunition for every caliber of firearm. They rent at the range except .357 Magnum. I saw at least one suppressed handgun that was for rent. As far as I know, you can bring your own ammo, whether you rent or not. They do allow reloaded ammunition. They prohibit ammunition. The prohibited ammunition is posted on the wall next to where you sign in. Only 7.62 by 39 and 5.56 by 45 rifles are allowed. You must be at least 14 years of age and accompanied by an adult to shoot at the range. And Squib said, when we visited, they were having league shooting inside the range, so they allowed us to watch and take pictures. The league members were being timed on shooting and targets from behind concealment and doing magazine changes. For Dano, they have tables and chairs and coffee pots. Let me screen share. He sent a couple pictures too. Stand by.
Wow, they got tables and coffee pots. I'm surprised Dano's not living there.
Right. All right. So here is the parking lot. What was it? Accurate range. Okay, yeah. I think I said that already. What's those at? 9 to 6 on Sundays. Oh, they're open on Sundays. There you go.
Jeez, there you go, G.
Keep gun and holster. Okay. There's a little lounge. That's cool. Like a little kind of a bar.
Yeah. That's nice.
Please the rules. Oh, that's the rules. Oh, that's so that must be where you fill out the electronic thing. Let's see here. No steel core, no steel cartridge, Wolf brand, Tula brand, birdshot, buckshot.
Yeah.
Huh. Must use our ammunition and magazines for rifles. And that must be, is that for sale or for, I can't see those tickets very clear, but they, I don't know, that might be good. Rentals.
Yeah, decent selection.
Yeah, a lot of guns. There's the meat and potatoes right there, the revolvers.
Yeah, nice shiny.
Oh, that's a kind of a cool range. I like how it's set up like that.
Oh, yeah.
Don't really enjoy indoor ranges. It's kind of loud.
Yeah. I hear you.
No smoking. See, me and this indoor range are gonna have some problems.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I can't shoot if I don't have a cigarette in my mouth.
Oh, they got swag too.
That t-shirt's on sale, 20% off.
Snap. Oh, there's the coffee pot for Dano.
Yeah. And a TV. He watches daily daily soap operas.
His programs.
His programs, yeah.
What are we talking about?
We're just still looking at Squid Shop. I think that's good.
Yeah, they've got tables and coffee pots and everything. Dano would just be in heaven.
Yep. There it is. It's empty, but it looks like it's ready to make some more.
Dano's already been there. Empty coffee pot, only one cup missing.
So that was accurate range in Clarkston, Michigan. Thank you, Squib, for sending that in. And anybody else that wants to send in their gun shops or whatever they like to go visit, gun ranges, gun shops, feel free to send it in to dailygunshow@gmail.com.
Yeah, we very much appreciate it. Thanks, Squib.
Yep, I could say, let's see, I'm looking. Oh, I just had my list up here. I have 40 videos worth of content so far. I was going through and looking at videos and stuff. So sooner than later, we'll start having the goal of the show, a new gun shop every day. And working towards, now I'm going to be able to give Jimmy a bunch of gun shops that we can talk to. And we're going to try to arrange some interviews. About every 1 out of 5, I'd say at this point, gun shops are like really active online. They make a point of letting me know about their Facebook and stuff. And those are usually the ones that I assume are aware of internet promotion and internet, doing stuff online. So I've talked to some of those about doing an interview, and some of them have been really interested. A couple of them are interested but not familiar, going to have to be showed how to do it. But I think that's kind of part of the fun in doing the tour too, is that hopefully we're bringing some of these gun shops into the internet age, not, just at least giving them an option, showing them some options. So hopefully we'll have more and more of that in the next couple of weeks.
Right on.
All right, so that was our gun shop of the day. Why don't we move into the gun movie? So every day we try to feature a movie, something you might not have seen in a while. If you're a kid, something you ain't seen yet. I don't know this movie. Street Kings.
Oh yeah, I put that one in there. So I was perusing through my little streaming thing online and saw this movie, and it's pretty much it's Keanu Reeves. So it's John Wick before John Wick started John Wicking.
2008, it says.
Yeah, yeah. So he is pretty much like a cop, and there's a bunch of dirty cops around him, and he's trying to figure stuff out.
Forrest Whitaker, Chris Evans, Cedric the Entertainer. There's a lot of people in it. A whole lot of people.
Yeah, I looked at watched the trailer when I saw the movie in the sheet, and I went and checked out the trailer, and I've never seen it, which is, yeah, usually I've seen all of his movies, but yeah, so I don't know how I missed it, but yeah, it looks good. Looks good, lots of shooting in it.
Yeah, I actually never seen it before. Like I said, I was just like cruising through the streaming site one time and came across this. So yeah, and it keeps your attention and it's entertaining. I wouldn't say it's like the best storyline ever. You know, it's not, you know, a Hollywood classic or anything like that, but it's definitely something to check out. And with the whole John Wick thing now and him, you know, being kind of like more popular and stuff, this was him doing gunplay before all that.
Yeah, I just watched the trailer just now a little bit, and it definitely looks like Wick, except with a cop uniform on.
Yeah.
And younger. But was this like straight to DVD? It almost looks like a straight to DVD type of thing.
I don't know, but I'm not like I keep up on movies, but I never heard of it being out in 2008, so I don't know. I don't remember this movie at all. I never heard of it before.
Angry must have seen it. He says the opening scene is awesome. So great. Yeah, that's the whole point of this segment, right? Is to talk about a movie that people might not have seen in a while or ever. And, you know, we all watch movies. We're all aware of the various ways you can see them online for cheap and free. So, yeah, right on. I'm looking. That's a name brand movie with a bunch of name brand stars in it. Like, it doesn't maybe. Like, I recognized even as I was going through the IMDb thing or whatever, quite a few of the names. So, you know, sometimes these kind of movies that have so many stars are like, because the movie's so good, they want to be in it, right? They'll take bit roles and stuff because they want to be part of it. So hopefully it's like that.
Yeah, it might just be there was some other super blockbuster, you know, came out at the same time, so it just never got traction.
Yeah, exactly. If it come out at the same time as the movie we all cared about, we might have totally missed it. Huh?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to check it out for sure, but I can't really give it anything because I haven't seen it. So looks good, but I think the only one that's seen it. Yeah,
I give it a thumb up. I give it a thumb up. Definitely something worth checking out. And like I said, it's entertaining. Not a super awesome story, but it's definitely entertaining.
Yeah, the storyline kind of sounded like, oh, we've heard this before.
Yeah. So that's our movie of the day, Street Kings with Keanu Reeves and a bunch of other people.
Yeah, it's got Keanu Reeves.
Ghost out there talking about pulling G's in the car. Haha. Well, obviously, I've burned out plenty of transmissions, so I pull all that.
Yeah, when you can pull G's in a one-ton van, man.
Yeah, I ain't farting around. I ain't got time. Got time to stroll there. I'm in a hurry.
Sometimes that poor old dog, he's just stuck to the side of the van.
All right, so I guess that'll take us into something else. We did our random topic, our wild card topic. We did the state of the state.
What the heck?
Get down. All right, everybody. So you know what that sounds mean. Crack your fingers, get your keyboards out, and get ready to go on the quiz.
I got the YouTube side. I'm just going to whatever you call it.
Know what that sounds mean? Oh, yeah, I'm on Grunt Channels. So today's quiz. What was the first gun chambered in .380? What was the first gun chambered in .380? I still haven't downloaded it. Sorry.
Got nothing on YouTube. It's been just dead. I just refreshed and it's just not doing nothing. Nobody's talking.
I missed the question. What was it?
The first gun chambered in 308 and 380.
Yeah, 380.
Gun chambered in 380 ACP, auto Colt pistol, huh?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, give him another hint, G.
John Browning invented the 380 ACP in retaliation to, I don't know. Nope, it's not the 1903 Colt. Although that's similar.
What was the 19? Wasn't that 32?
Probably. Don't know the answer. Okay.
Bandito, no, it's not Smith & Wesson 380 pistol. It's not the high power.
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner.
Oh.
Pants over on the gun channel side. Colt 1908.
Oh, well done, Pants.
So the answer was Colt 1908 pocket hammerless. I guess we're gonna take half answers this time. That's fine.
Yeah, we'll take that answer. So I guess.
I don't know how you can go to a laundromat and put in a quarter, and that's all you got to do. You got to tell it like be super hot or be super cold. That's about it. And then whatever the hell this robot thing is here, it's like a complicated manual of buttons and like levers you have to switch. So I just got in trouble for putting it all in there wrong.
So, Pants, I guess that makes you the tactical hot shot of the day.
Yep.
Congratulations. I remember back in the day, people would come away with a sense of satisfaction after hearing somebody win the hot shot.
Yeah. Yeah, we should have just recorded somebody. We should have just recorded Z doing it. Use that.
Actually, that gives me an idea. Maybe we should. Actually, we could do one of those. You've heard of that Photoshop for sound? You just like use this software that I think Adobe's going to buy, or they're buying, or they bought, and you just let it listen to somebody talk for long enough, and then it can just emulate anything you type is that person saying it. So we'll just bring Z and Dano back, robot style.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be kind of cool.
All we have to do is we have to just type in like, yes, I agree. Yes, you're right. Excellent point. Things like that. Okay, yes, man. All right, so that was our tactical hot quiz. I want to put a thing out there too. We haven't had any sales. We had 4 sales since July on the store. So I assumed nobody was ever going to buy anything again from the store, and I left. Since I left, we had 3 sales at the store. So if people are listening, I do appreciate the sales. However, because there literally been no sales for the last 2 months, it wasn't something I worked on. So the people that are watching the house are not planning on shipping stuff out for me. So those are probably going to have to wait until I get home. So if those people are listening, I do appreciate the purchase. However, hopefully they'll be patient with the SIM shipping, which won't happen until I get back. So I just want to throw that out there. And then the reason I'm saying that now is because we really do plan to start having the patches again. I really considered bringing it with me. I'm glad I didn't. I was going to bring the patch panel with me so that we could start sending stuff, and I would just send it from the road. But obviously, if it worked out, that would have been a mess, and then it would have probably just got the patches all dirty from changing something out in the van. So when we get back to AZ, I'm going to work with Jimmy, and we'll figure out a way that no matter who's on the road or what's going on, we'll be sending out patches again for those Tactical Pop Quiz winners, because that was kind of fun, and we do want to say thanks to the people that win, and it makes the show interactive. And we've actually gotten quite a few patches from people who wanted to give them to the patch panel. So we are still collecting patches, even though we haven't been sending them out. So it's not our goal to own them. Our goal is to move them along. So we'll start doing that sooner than later. And for everybody that's won in the meantime, we'll definitely make that all worth everybody's while, and we'll have some fun with it.
For sure.
All right, so that'll take us to, do we have anything else left? The gun of the day. The dog getting whooping. Just go live and whoop the dog here. I think we just have the gun of the day. So what's this gun? Nobody even likes this gun, Bob.
Hey, you can blame Jimmy for that one.
That's my fault. I picked the Browning M2 or M2 Browning, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I like that gun. So
yeah, 50 cal heavy machine gun. And honestly, I just picked a gun that I liked.
That's the way to do
it. I believe this was, when did they start designing this thing? Around the end of World War I, something like that?
The Modu.
Yeah, I think it was actually being designed during World War I. It was designed for that.
It's one of the longest running weapons in our inventory, right?
Yeah, I believe you guys are still using them. I mean, they've got new ones now, but
we definitely still use them.
Yeah.
I mean, not ones that were built in like 1911 or whatever, but well, I'm sure some of those exist too, but they're definitely still in our inventories.
And yeah, they are classics.
So let's see. It says it was designed in it's in service from 1933 to now. I'm trying to see if it'll say when he actually put the dang thing together for the first time.
Oh man, I remember
30-06 was becoming ineffective against the armored machine gun or the motorized vehicles and aircraft. So that 30-06, while it was effective for people, wasn't so effective for material. So that's when they came up with this guy. And let's see, I guess they observed some French using a bigger bullet in 11 millimeter and said, yeah, that might work. So around July of 1917, Browning started redesigning his original 30-06 M1917, the older one, for the more powerful round, the 50 BMG, which of course Browning machine gun, his round, and we're still.
Now, was it not just a scaled up 30-06 though? Really?
Yeah, seriously. If you look at a 30-06 and a M2, or I mean a 50 BMG, and then like even a 5.56, they all have the same proportions. They are the same, like, you know, natural curve or whatever you want to call, like, you know, that's the Browning profile or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I guess if
308,
it's perfection, it's perfection.
But yeah, then we started ripping right through Nazi armor, right, and won every war since. So it's one of the coolest guns ever. How many times have you guys shot these guns? 50 MT.
Never.
I've never shot one. No.
Well, we got to change that. But I go to. You never shot any of them, Bob?
The 50s? No.
Oh.
The only full auto I've ever shot was a Sterling.
Well, get out there and shoot more. They're definitely available. I've shot M2s. I've shot privately owned FN M2s, which is super fun, especially when the guy doesn't care and lets me shoot belts of them. So that was fun. I've shot the M2 out the top of, what's his name, Dylan's SUV. They have that like Suburban that has the turret that pops up out of the top.
Oh yeah.
Shot out of that. You can do that in Ben Avery sometimes. That's where I shot it. Of course, you're just shooting them. Otherwise, you know, other times, every once in a while, you'll go out to a shoot and they'll let you shoot like 2 or 3 rounds, boom, 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 just you know, so they don't burn up their ammo, but so you can see what it's like. But yeah, definitely one of the coolest guns out there for sure. The guy I know that owned them, he went from being a gun guy to being a car guy. So he sold both of his FN Browning M2s. He bought them pre-68 from FN. So he just went to FN and said, give me an M2. And they said, here you go. And he bought it. And I believe he sold them for $60,000 each, something like that. I forgot what he said we bought them for, but it was more like 10 at the time. So that was not an inexpensive gun to buy, but it was basically the exact same gun they were selling in the military, literally the exact same gun. And you could just buy it, and he's owned it, and then that's how you get money. So he sold them, and he bought some sort of, I don't remember if he bought a Lamborghini or some other stupid car, but he drives around a fast car now. Anyway, they were fun to shoot and pretty easy to deal with as far as guns go.
Yeah, I guess the maintenance on them is supposed to be pretty common sense.
Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the reasons they exist so long, is that they just, they do their thing. It's like 1911 of machine guns or something.
Yep. Well, because it was designed by God.
So then you got this picture here on Wikipedia of a B-25, 4 M2s pointing out their nose. Doom on that German plane. You got these, I guess it's called the meat chopper, an M45. It's a half track with treads in back, wheels up front for turning, and then a turret with 4 quad 50. You've seen those, like where you sit between them. You got 2 coming out from both sides of you. Again, Doom on those aircraft. That's what really for shooting up with a little weak ass aluminum aircraft, right?
Oh yeah.
Then you got them on boats here, where you can just tear apart any kind of vehicles that might be on the side of the shore or something, or kind of usually any kind of buildings. I imagine they take a little time to eat into a bunker, but I suspect a 50 can eat into a bunker in a little bit of time. You can get the the rounds that soup them up quite a bit, whether they Rufus or whatever, where they'll hit with the same impact as a 20. So I think it's a versatile gun, versatile platform, but also the 50 BMG is a large enough projectile to deliver some real serious carnage.
Oh yeah, well, you got to remember, like they used them right up till the Korean War on airplanes.
They still use them.
They were on jet airplanes.
Oh, you mean mounted them on airplanes until then? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think at some point the planes outrun them, huh? And it's no point carrying around that much weight when your plane's going faster than the bullet can go.
Yeah, that's why they ended up going to 20 mil. They were actually running into that problem in dives and stuff.
And again, it's probably if once your plane gets better accuracy, which I'm sure they do get better accuracy, right? Once you have computers and stuff helping the guys shoot, then you don't need to have a bunch of little rounds. You can have fewer effective rounds when you're sure that those effective rounds are being effective, right? Hitting.
Right. Yeah.
If you've got a computer-controlled machine gun or something that can drop 3 rounds and make sure one of them hits that plane, then you don't need 8 rounds from 50.
Yeah, and they were finding the 50 never had a problem with the 50 not being able to penetrate any other plane. It was the fact that it couldn't carry a big enough charge in the bullet. Like the roof. Like I say, the Rufus round souped it up, but imagine a 20 mil, you can put that much more.
Yeah, a souped up 20 is more effective than a souped up 50.
Oh yeah.
I think a very good gun of the day.
Yeah, that is a real winner. Well, anything designed by Browning is going to be.
I'd say my second favorite of all time guns. I'd still rather have a PKM only because they're cooler and you can carry them around. I guess you can carry around one of these, but you're not shooting it and carrying it around. Where you can shoot a PKM and carry it and stuff. So I think this would be my second, ultimate gun to have around. Because once you got your gun, you can mount it any way you want and fiddle with it. It's a very modular gun. Put one of these on the van.
I just want one for my living room.
I'm just going to put it in the back. So like the back door is open and that's what you're greeted with. That's what Bob can get on his camper. Turret.
Wouldn't leave a whole lot of room in the back though.
I don't care. Nobody would tailgate me anymore.
Yeah, somebody starts tailgating, the doors just open up.
Cool.
All right, so it's our gun of the day. So I don't know what else we got left. I'm going to start putting lines in here. I'm going to start danoing up the thing. We got this. We got this. Got that. State of State. We did the gun shop. That's the gun of the day. We did the movie. Do we got any gun history today? Yesterday was, of course, a significant one. And again, I think we didn't mention this yesterday, but we were chatting about it on the chat this morning and on some Instagram stuff. But yesterday, let's not forget, was also Benghazi when Hillary Clinton killed 4 people. And obviously the the pro-Hillary jackasses are going to do all they can to say, let's remember, the actual 9/11, which obviously is important, but they're going to do everything they can to not bring up that it's also the anniversary of Benghazi yesterday. I only saw one post on Instagram that mentioned that, and I think that's kind of a shame.
I didn't see anything. Zero.
I saw some stuff in Facebook, but about it.
Well, at least people are remembering, and I'm sure in the more military things, I don't really follow much military stuff, but I'm sure the military stuff was aware and remembered. The Space Shuttle Endeavour takes off for NASA's 50th shuttle mission. Its crews include a bunch of people, diversity, and then that was in 1992. Speaking of that, has nothing to do with guns, but has anybody seen that movie? Damn it, what's it called? Where it's about the black ladies that were computers back in the space race, like before there were computers. It was like a job description to be like a mathematical person to like verify and do math for like trajectories and stuff. Have you seen that movie? It's new.
I haven't seen it. I saw the ads for it.
It's really good. I watched it last night with parents, and pretty neat movie. And then it's based on history or whatever, so that made me wonder. There's a lot of stuff in there. Like John Glenn is like, I'm not doing this until you tell me the math is verified by Catherine or whatever her name is. Like, I want to make sure she said it's good to go, because this is again before computers existed, but people did the computing, and they used different types of math to come up with this. And there was some, do you want to use Euclidean geometry or some other, there were some debates, I guess, on ways to do things. And according to this, John Glenn wouldn't take off until he was told or, satisfied that she verified the math. And I thought that was interesting. And of course, it made me wonder, is that true or whatever? And that got me to looking online, and they did some comparisons between The Right Stuff and this movie. And I guess, there's no way to know because he's not around anymore. He died, but she's alive and she liked this movie. And again, it's based on real life, so it's not 100% accurate, but it was enough for her to not be upset with it or anything. And then it said that John Glenn was definitely not impressed with The Right Stuff, that he felt it took too much leeway on their actual situations when they didn't know what really happened. They just assumed. Where with this movie, it says that most people agree that this movie is based on real life, and the biggest differences on it are that they tend to take like a group of people and personify their efforts as the efforts of one person. So in other words, if anything, this movie just didn't portray how many people were involved, but basically the level of which they were involved was all accurate. It was super interesting because I never really even thought about that time and when we were doing stuff like this. And you always hear about the space shuttle even only has like as much power as an old computer calculator watch or whatever. There's very little computer power in these old spacecraft, but that's because there was still math needed to be done. That's because there was a lot of human beings doing all the math. So really interesting. And I guess something about what we just read there, that in 1992, NASA's 50th shuttle mission, that same lady, Catherine, whatever her name is, who was the feature of this movie, she's they as a little kid, they saw that she had genius in math, and they gave her some help to get through college and everything, and then she became working for NASA and everything. And it's part of her struggle as a black lady in the 60s, before the whole segregation crap ended and all that. So it was, a bit of that, and then a bit of the just, the internal struggles of like a guy who's established and this lady who's coming in, knows her stuff and is showing him up kind of thing. So there was all kinds of little stuff in there. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. And if anybody's interested in a movie that talks about another angle at the space race, and that one that it sounds like the people that were actually involved are giving a thumbs up to the movie, that it's accurate, then I'd highly encourage listening or watching that movie. It's pretty good.
Yeah, you gotta remember they were doing all that. They were designing everything with a slide rule. I mean,
seriously,
there were computers, but there weren't very many of them that could do the kind of.
Well, according to this movie, the NASA was just getting the computers, and like this, the way they were using them, they were having to first learn the computers, and then, okay, now that we have a computer that works, what do we use it for? So it was, again, a bunch of people coming up with math and then using the computers to verify. And then that was, you'd come up with a big complicated math program. It would take 2 or 3 people to verify it before anybody was going to say, yeah, this is the trajectory that we're going to risk everybody's life and all this equipment on. So I guess the computers at first, the mechanical computers were just developed by people's math.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of neat. So that just reminded me of that movie. If you're interested in that kind of history, watch it.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds like a good movie.
Nobody born. Jesse Owens was born today. That's about it. All right, so I guess there's no history. I think we might be done. Is there anything else? Should we start doing a thing at the end of the show, like a wrap up? Like if anybody was watching and we touched on something and blew past it or whatever, like maybe take a second at the end as we're wrapping up to put a call out there to the audience if we missed something, or if you'd like to. Hidden Figures, thank you. That's the name of the movie, Hidden Figures. If anybody'd like to mention something before we go, plug something. Let's see, tonight on Gun Channels, we've got some shows coming up. Now, again, we've scheduled our show here. We moved our time slot to the noon time slot, noon Eastern. So we're ending here at like, I don't know what time it is, an hour later. So yeah.
About 1:15, 1:30.
So the idea is that there's now a time slot, a room in the schedule for someone who wants to run a show or to do anything, run a lobby or just hang out. Maybe you just want to jump in there and as a group of people have a time to BS. I think somebody will open up a lobby after this. I think yesterday Connery did, so thanks for that. But anyway, later on this afternoon, we'll start seeing some of the shows start up. There's Tactical Tuesday today. And if I knew the time of that, I would tell you. Andalusia Armory is also today. I happen to know the time there because we overlapped on that. Will be at 7 p.m. Eastern. So after that would be Hit or Miss, which is 9 p.m. Eastern. And then Rick does, Big Gunner 81, does a show as well on Tuesdays. Always worth watching. Rick is one of the shows that I think it's because it's so late, people tend to forget about it. He also doesn't post it on the main channel of Gun Channels, the main page there on Gun Channels, so people might miss it that way. But of course, we do have them listed in the little turnstile thingy that happens on the front page. And I usually post a link whenever I remember to when I'm around on Tuesdays. But Rick's show is usually pretty good. He's got a lot of contacts out in the industry, and he's doing that 50 States of AR-15 project, as well as the 50 States of 1022. And that gets him in contact with lots of different little manufacturers and people that are, in the industry. And he usually puts the call out on a Tuesday on his Facebook and says, hey, anybody want to join the show tonight? And he usually consistently gets 5 or 6 people that aren't always the same. There's a couple of people that that are on all the time, but for the most part, it's kind of a different mix, and it's a great show. Sometimes he's got competition shooters on there, sometimes he has manufacturers, but his format is to have the guests kind of run the topics and run the show. So unlike one of these formatted shows like ours where we have segments, or some of the shows that deal with news of the day or just a pure Q&A type of show, his show is more of a mixture of them all. So I highly encourage you to check that one out if you haven't. Andalusia Armory, if you were watching our show on the regular, check out Andalusia Armory. We don't mention it enough, but it's a group of guys that are in the gun shop. They close a little early and turn the camera on and kind of shoot the shit. It's an interesting look into what it's like to be in a gun shop, kind of behind the scenes. It's a lot like if you're really good friends with the guys at a gun shop and you're talking with them after hours. So I think that's a really neat insight. Of course, Tactical Tuesday with, I always want to say Clover, but it's Ghost Tactical. And he's been doing a great show as well. And then, of course, Smeggy and Night Strike on Hit or Miss.
And if I can real quick, I just want to add in guys that like listen to books on tape and listen to like the radio shows and stuff like that when they're working or when they're, doing stuff, working in the garage, whatever. That's 4 hours right there of content. Like if somebody was actually on gunchannels.com or subscribed to all of them on YouTube, I guess. But, that's 4 hours of time right there that you could just sit back and listen to people watching shows. A lot of the chats, they let people in. So, I mean, you can be involved in it, involved in the text chat, even if you are busy or doing something. So, I mean, and you also have the capability of watching it later. So that's a lot of time, a lot of potential. And that should be a little bit of a motivation, at least to other people that are out there that are wanting to start shows and do stuff like that. I mean, we could be nonstop over here on Gun Channels, So that's something to think about. And by the way, too, Ghost Tactical's 8 Eastern. I was just looking.
So it all works out. You've got 7 p.m. Eastern, Andalusia Armory for about an hour. You've got Ghost for the next hour, 8 p.m., and then you got Hit or Miss at 9, and then Rick usually starts up around 10 or so, which is right around when you get sick of listening to Hit or Miss. So works out perfect.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, it's awesome. So Tuesdays are definitely a cool night on Gun Channels. Wednesdays, there's some room, but we've got a couple of shows there. We'll talk about them tomorrow. Clover and Matt, and then Thursdays are crazy as well. Fridays are getting pretty full. So yeah, Jimmy, I think we were talking about this the other day. It's been cool to see the more people jumping in. And again, we moved our show for a couple of reasons, and one of them is to open up that window. So it does look like Pants has got a lobby going already. So we'll drop links in there to the Gun Channels lobby. If you're listening to this and you have no idea what we're talking about, over on gunchannels.com, there's a live text chat 24/7. So anytime you want, more than likely you're going to be able to text chat with somebody. But every once in a while, more often than not now, someone will open up one of these Google Hangouts, these live rooms, and they'll just throw the link out there for anybody who wants to check it out. And we call that the lobby. One of our members a long time ago, One Bad Marine is his name, came up with the term, and it stuck. So we call it the lobby, sort of like if you go to the movie theater and you're hanging out in the lobby before one of the shows, and then once the show starts, everybody kind of funnels off into the show. Or if you're waiting for the next show, you got this lobby. So people are free to open up a lobby anytime you want. Hangouts typically run 8 hours on YouTube. So a lot of people will just open it up, maybe go to work, open it up, leave it running on the background of their computer. And then as people jump in and jump out, the conversation rises and falls. And sometimes it's epic and sometimes it's dead air, but always interesting and not, sponsored by anybody. It's not, no agenda there except for open conversations. So it's always different and always fun. Well, it's always different.
Yeah, it is. And it's just, if you can either watch schlocky TV or you can interact with people. And, myself, I'd rather interact with people than watch, stupid Singing with the Stars or Dancing with the Hooligans or whatever the shows are these days, or the Kardashians or whatever.
Yeah. We were going to start a show called Dancing with the Gun Guys. Maybe we should rethink that, Jimmy. We're going to do like ballroom dancing mixed with high-powered long-range shooting.
I actually have levels like ready to go, so whenever you're ready to start that, we can start.
We were going to be like the judges, and we were going to come up with that I was going to snap funny, and Jimmy was going to do this little thing, when people were good or bad. I guess we'll rethink this. So I was watching something earlier, and somebody had one of these, I forget who makes it, the can gun. It's like an AR looking thing, but it's not a gun because you can only shoot blanks. And then it's got that big, goofy looking barrel launcher thing, and you jam a coffee can, a soda can in there or a tennis ball. And then blank. So somebody took them off, and I think it was the gun shop here in Illinois that we visited the other day. I followed them on Instagram, so Instagram is feeding me all their pictures. And somebody was shooting that as like the thrower at it, like instead of a clay target, shooting the can, and then somebody else was shooting the can with a shotgun. I want to do that, so we need to get ourselves one of them launchers so we can play around like that.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, especially when you can get I don't know, some kind of expired soda or something, or or maybe take an aluminum can. Use that as the mold, right? Take the top off and then fill it with just mud. Literally just make some mud, fill it with mud, so we get a big mud ball that we can just shoot out of there for free. That'd be super fun. And it would just be returning clip with mud.
Fill tennis balls up with
use them cut them in half and use a mold to make little round mud balls.
No, I was thinking just cut a hole in them and fill them up with explosives.
Oh, maybe you get a 10-year federal felony for making a projectile that's explosive. How about we don't do that?
Is that illegal?
Yeah, 10-year federal felony for even building it. Probably more for shooting it. So we could film Bob doing it, I guess.
I was just thinking, just put tannerite in it.
No, it's just saying. So one of these days we'll go more than 3 miles offshore if we want.
Yeah, that's true. Just take a boat out there. That would actually be kind of fun.
Well, I was thinking of swimming, but yeah, you're right. A boat would probably be a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's hard to swim with carrying your gun above your head.
Yeah, we don't do that enough. I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not, but yeah, I kind of figured we haven't talked about what the lobby actually is, and we kind of assume sometimes. So yeah, figured good time to mention that. So we're just kind of farting around at this point. That's been the show. And we thank everybody for showing up. I don't know how many people are in there, so I'm going to go look over here, and I think it'll tell me 16 people are watching. We do appreciate all of you out there, and anybody that might be listening in the future. The only way we're going to know you're out there is if you leave us a comment. So if you leave us a comment on the YouTube or something, we do appreciate it. We do see them when we log into YouTube to launch the show. We're going to see the comments. So if you have a question or something, you can definitely leave it there. If you just want to have a conversation about what you heard on the show with some of the other people on the YouTube who are using YouTube as their platform, do it. That's what it's all about. Like I said, that really helps us out because it lets us know as human beings what you as another human being liked about the show, didn't like, or had questions about, or would like to see more of. But then because you post a comment on YouTube, the robots, the brain behind it all is also going to recognize that our show is popular enough to get comments, and that's going to give us a little bit higher ranking than that other podcast that happens that doesn't get any comments. So we really do appreciate those efforts, and on both levels. So we will be back here tomorrow for episode 397. It'll be our entertainment day on Wednesday. We'll be talking about good idea, bad idea, using a variety of handguns for EDC as opposed to just one. We do our hashtag Daily Gun Show Showdown. So if you're using Instagram to take photos and stuff, consider using the hashtag Daily Gun Show. That way on Wednesdays when we do that, we will get together. Whoever hosts show up for the show that day, we get together. We look at the pictures that use that hashtag Daily Gun Show. We judge them. And we decide who has the best picture on Instagram that week. So anybody can be part of that. Just use the hashtag. Otherwise, we do our stuff like our gun shop of the day, our gun of the day in the movie, all the other stuff that we do on a daily basis. So we'll see you back here at noon tomorrow.
All right. So if nobody has anything else, I guess we'll wrap it up with our quote. Before that, I just want to mention we did have 15 thumbs up last time I looked. So thanks everybody for that. Please everybody like, share, subscribe. That's important to us. And if you want to support us on Patreon, the address is in the show notes, not the show notes, in the show description, YouTube. So anyway, let's wrap this up. The quote today is Sigmund Freud. A fear of weapons is a sign of retarded sexual and emotional maturity. So anybody out there scared of guns? That just means that you're kind of messed up. So thanks everybody for watching and listening, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Hey, wouldn't that also mean that if it's your issue, if you're afraid of guns, that by becoming less or more familiar with guns and less apprehensive about guns, you're actually curing yourself?
That's true. Yeah, it is very true. And you'll also become more sexually and emotionally mature. So make your woman happier. If you got one.
All right, cool. Well, once again, thanks everybody for stopping by, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.